You got her working? I believe we're online now. As once again, Miss Hillman, do you mind leading us in the word?
Certainly. If you'll join me, Father God, we just come to you and we thank you and we praise your mighty name for this awesome rain that you've blessed this land with. Lord, we just trust in you to continue to bring your rain forward and just to bless our agricultural roots, Lord, with everything that they need, the nourishment and the moisture and the continuation of that. Lord, we praise you and thank you for all that you do. We ask that you're with this commission, that you guide and direct them as they make the decisions set before them today. And Lord, bless each one of these county staff members here today, and a special prayer of endurance for those on the first floor for obvious reasons. Lord, we just trust you, we love you, and we thank you for all you do for us. And it's in your son's name we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico,
the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Good morning. Chair to entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
And move second that we approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 2, approval of the minutes from August the 9th, regular meeting. I'll second that motion. All those in favor of approving the minutes of August 9th, regular meeting, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion approved. On to public request. If there's anyone in the audience out there that like something to speak on the agenda, now's your time. You have 2 minutes. 3 minutes. See nobody requesting, we'll move on to elected officials. Employee recognition, and Ms. Hamilton, and I guess me, will hand those out. Let's turn Dennis's microphone so everybody can hear.
Perfect.
There we go. You call them out and I'll shake the hands. How about that?
Okay. Sounds perfect. And then I want to go back and get a picture.
Is Lily here? Give her your camera.
No, I don't need to be in the pictures.
Oh, yes, you do.
Okay, so is Deputy Rice out there, Johnny? No?
Nope.
Okay. So Benjamin Rice is with the Sheriff's Office. He's at 1 year. So we'll get that to him. The next one we have is Miss Jerry Deshay. 10 years of
Oh, my goodness.
working here at the county. So here, I can go straight.
I thought it was meant to.
1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. And also that one too. That too. Thank y'all. Okay, so Lisa is here, and Lisa is in the clerk's office, and she is celebrating 1 year today. One, two, three. Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Okay, is Lieutenant Lair is
Lair,
here, so exciting. And Lieutenant Lair is at the detention center, and he is celebrating 3 years since his return today.
Oh.
How many years total? 8.
Right.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Me and Claire are old friends. Our kids played soccer together when they was at.
Whoa. Okay, so we have Deputy Mueller is,
Oh, there.
yes, I'm like, I think I saw him here in plain clothes. He's incognito. So Deputy Mueller is here today. We're super excited to have him back from Clovis. Yay. So much cooler down here. I mean, not literally in this room, but so 3 years of service today for Deputy Mueller. Saying your name.
Hey, it looks like normal.
No, it's perfect.
Now you
1,
look
2,
normal.
3.
That's
Okay. Okay. Is Miss Shanna out there?
No, where is she?
So she's at 15 years with
Yeah.
the sheriff's office.
I knew it.
Javier, is Lieutenant Sanchez out there? Holiday weekend is a killer. Okay. Officer Andre, not today. Yeah. He's at 1 year at the detention center. And Officer Gonzalez?
Yesterday was his last day.
It's fitting. Okay, 1 year there. We'll send you with these. And Deputy Brunson, is he out there? I talked to him this weekend, but I think he worked yesterday. So we will get it to him. He's celebrating 1 year. So kudos to all of
I
our
need to come in and hand them
employees.
out to them one day. Let me know.
Okay, I sure will. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll gather this up later. Thank you, Commissioner.
Just say that again. Thank you to every employee for being so grateful for y'all's work. I mean, we sit up here, but we know who does the day to day. All right, detention. Miss Ramsey.
I'm going to move that a little bit. Okay. Facility count is at 51 this morning, 7 females and 44 males. Our out of county, we have 5. Total numbers of booking for August is 67. Releases for August are 78. Total number transported for the month of August are at 10. Total in restricted housing is 0. For our billing, we have Quay County for $2,100. Guadalupe is $150. I added juvenile billing to this. We have 5 kids out right now, and it was at $32,445 for the month of August. Detail workers have been to the fairgrounds for cleanup all last week and the week prior. They've also helped out at the road barn, and we are now working on the grounds around the jail and continuing to clean up the fair and road department as well. MAT program, we have 12 in group counseling. We have 13 in individual counseling, 0 on medications. For the academy, we have 1 graduated last week and 2 more in the academy. I stand for any questions.
Anybody have anything? Miss Ramsey?
Awesome. Thank you.
Report. Floodplain. Mr. Montiel.
Morning, Commissioners, Chairman. On Thursday, we had our second CCO meeting, which is a consultation coordination meeting with the revised floodplain maps that are coming out, because during our first preliminary meeting, I found some errors that I needed to get corrected on the maps. And one of them being that they did not have the village of Kazi nor the village of Doria on those maps, so they included them. And so now we had our meeting on Thursday. They went over the whole process of being mapped. And so they understood. They had all the questions they needed to ask. The representatives from Dora was Ms. Fraze, and the mayor for Kazi was Mr. Pies, and of course myself, Ms. Diane Howe from FEMA, and John Miles from FEMA were all in attendance. And so we asked a lot of questions and went through it. And if they have any more questions, we'll have some more meetings. But as of right now, we started our second preliminary 90-day appeal and comment period. And so as soon as we process everything, review the maps, if there's any more changes that need to be made, then I'll make my comments. If not, then we'll proceed. After the 90 days, we'll go into our 6 months where we have to adopt our new ordinance. Also, with whatever villages are wanting to join the NFIP, they'll have to adopt an ordinance also. And so we'll keep plugging away. I'll keep y'all informed as we go. And And if there's any more updates, then I'll bring.
Thank you, Mr. Montiel.
Thank you.
On with healthcare. Yes, we do.
Second.
It's been moving. Second that we now going to indigent. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We're now into indigent.
Good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman. The healthcare for this batch is 21 claims for $12,220.05. Total approved is 12 claims for $7,969.15. Total disapproved are 9 claims for $4,250.90. The disapproved ones are one for Fedco emergency doctors, and that one claim is for Portales Police Department. For Texas Tech University, there's 3 claims that are disapproved for $328, and the patients were not inmates for those dates of service. Roosevelt General Hospital had 4 disapproved claims for $3,539.90. 2 were past lead time filing, and one was a patient was brought in by Portales Police Department, and another one there was no application on file. For Concord Radiology, there was 1 disapproval, and for $31, the patient was brought in by Portales Police Department. I stand for questions.
Need a motion to come out of indigent.
Second.
Move second that we come out of indigent. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? We're now out of indigent.
Thank you.
We need to, I need a motion to approve.
Second.
Been moving second that we approve the indigent report as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Indigent approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Costa. On the road, Miss Hamilton filling in for Mr. Lovato today.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. So a majority of the things that Mr. Lovato wanted me to touch on are actually going to be further down in the agenda. They are working on the projects. They have those going. They had several of the blades working. I'm sure y'all have seen them out. They had the rollers out where they could and everything. It was pretty wet on Friday. It was touch and go, just hunting, trying to find stuff. So it really wasn't worth them working over the weekend and some overtime type stuff, because it was just hard to find stuff that was dried out enough to work with those materials. But they have fully engaged and transitioned back out to the road. They spent a lot of time at the fairgrounds doing everything that they did. Rick and his team were phenomenal out there, just helping Gary get all those projects knocked out. Gary will assure you he could not have gotten them all done without Rick and his team. So they are working on shredding, and they have the shredder making their rounds on that one. They are also working on patching, and patching will start after the shredding. We still have 2 openings at the road department, and we have interviews scheduled this week, so those continue on. And I think that was the recap of everything pertinent he shared. But if y'all have any road concerns, I'm happy to take those down and have those addressed.
Mr. Chair. Yes, Ruth Moore called on Roosevelt Road 25 east of her house. She said it is washed out and it is impassable.
Okay.
I've seen the shredding. Thankful they're going a little too fast, or their blades need to be sharp, because they're leaving it pretty tall. Like, you can tell they're going too fast. I mean, if they're going to make the pass, just slow down just a little bit or something. So we won't have to come back again before fall.
Okay.
And, I noticed they cleared out some trees around stop signs, which I want to be sure. Thank you for that in my part. And the same thing as everybody else. I need blades on my road. Any other commissioner have something for the road?
I've done such a terrific job with mine.
Now we know where all the blades are.
That's right.
Oh, y'all have your own. They're running. That blade's been in Kenna for weeks, and they got everything done in Kenna, and then the rains came, and everything they had done was undone, and so it's start all over. It's like Groundhog Day.
We're talking about the working out the fairgrounds. We'll touch on this again in a minute, but the parking lots, we had so much compliments on the parking lots and the chip seal inside. I know Ricky and them did most all that. I mean,
Good.
Yeah, I just want to let them know that everybody in the community really liked it. We'll go on to the manager now. Which Ms. Hamilton?
Yes. So I have a little list, obviously, to go over. And the first thing I wanted to touch on was the fairgrounds. So lots of positive feedback from the fair and everything. One of the ones that was asked to pass along, a woman attended the fair from Clovis and just said, "Thank you for the safe fair. We are new to this area, and I grew up in a small town in Texas that also hosted local fair. Y'all's fair brought back so many memories, bright lights, sounds of the midway, fried food smells, kids running around with no cares and oh so happy. I was with my daughter and her husband. At one point, they asked me if I was okay. I was just overwhelmed with all the happy memories flooding back. Times sure have changed in my hometown, but it's nice to see traditions carried on in other places. I know it takes a lot of work to put these events on, but please thank everyone that was involved. I really had a good time." And so that actually came through the Chamber of Commerce website, and the Fair Board is the one that deserves the credit, for putting on a great event with everything that they did. Those volunteers spent endless hours out there doing everything that they do in terms of for this community and this area and everything. And it's so much more than just it's not just the livestock shows, but the agricultural exhibits and the food and the booths. And there's just so much going on out there. And so it was great to see. I have talked with the Fair Board president afterwards. We're scheduling a meeting later this month prior to their recap so that we can go over any kind of issues. We had some concerns with some parking arrangements that encroached on the detention center with some of the arena events and things like that. So there's a few logistical things that we're going to have to work through. And then any concerns that they have or any additional needs that they have that they want to see about getting addressed out there at the grounds. So we continue to have a great relationship there. And that communication is very much ongoing. The next thing is we have the Alzheimer's community walk. And y'all remember last year was our first one that we had held, and it was in conjunction with the city of Clovis, Curry County, and the city of Portales. And this year it's our turn to host. So I've started working on the event. I had a conference call with the group from last week, and we are reaching out to ENMU to see about hosting the event there in the arena, as it works so well for Relay for Life and such. So more will come on that. And I know there were some commissioners involved on that. So anyone that wants to help with that, just let me know. And because I would love to have some volunteers. Thanks. Okay.
When are you planning on doing that?
It'll be in November, but I need to see when the arena will be available around schedules. And so I've reached out to a couple of those, and the chancellor, she redirected me to who I needed for the bookings. So as soon as I can connect with them, hopefully this week we can get some potential dates. The hope is, again, a Saturday morning, much like what we did up there in Curry County. It was like from 10 to 12 Saturday morning, come in and walk, do a quick little ceremony and everything like that. And then we'll have the traditional campaign where we send it out and, everybody worked it as individuals as a potential awareness and everything. So we will also bring, again, the proclamation in November and everything that we can do just to raise awareness as the commission. Okay. Next meeting, Roosevelt General Hospital, the CEO, Kay Green, I've asked her to present because we have the annual report on the safety net care pool. And I think it's great just to have an annual update from RGH. So that will be on the meeting agenda. Cannon Air Force Base notified us that 30% of the design is roughly complete on the DAR project for North Roosevelt Road AV. Rick is coordinating with their officials in regards to they have our road policy, our specifications, our requirements, everything. And of course, Commissioner Greider continues to be made aware of all of those. He was the designated commissioner, and he is on the majority of those email chains, I believe, that you get the notification on everything. So they're working on it. We continue to see that one advance. Next, we are working closely with ENMU. They are trying to really restart and enhance their internship program. And I met with faculty in criminal justice that college last week just to explore needs and what the county departments can do in terms of accommodating intern placements in the spring. Because it is criminal justice, we're looking at the detention center, we're looking at law enforcement, the sheriff's office, and then we're also looking in our court compliance areas to place those. So they're very excited. They want to try to get as many students placed as possible. We're also helping connect them with area counties because they do have a significant number of students that are attending ITV is what it used to be, but they're from throughout the region, and they specifically mentioned needing some help connecting in Ruidoso and Roswell. And so I've connected them with those county managers as well, so that hopefully they can collaborate and get some additional placement within those local governments down there. Mr. Andrus, I asked him to share a final summer intern recap before his departure, and he reported that there were 43 total interns in our summer program, which is more. We have continued to increase. We utilized 3 coordinators and several successes, and one in particular in terms of that teen was offered a position at the community partner following the internship. So we're always excited to see those placements happening. And that tends to seem to be a regular and potentially reoccurring thing. So we will continue to work on that. And as we our new HR coordinator, we will get them up to speed because we look to continue to implement that program here locally. Okay, the next one is we do need to acknowledge in our minutes that we have received final budget approval for fiscal year 2022-23 from the Department of Finance and Administration. They have provided a letter documenting that. They did not have any notations or contingencies on any of those documents. They just noted that, again, all budget increases and transfers between department or between funds requires their approval and submission through local government. And we do that. We bring every budget adjustment and transfer before the board prior to submitting it. So we will continue to meet those, but we did need that documented in our minutes. The next one is we are needing to look at scheduling a special meeting. So last Thursday evening, we received the tax and rev, the rate report, and it requires review and affirmation by the assessor's office. And they were not able to have that completed last Friday. So that we could have it placed on this meeting agenda. So now we will need to schedule a special meeting. The requirements are within 5 days of receiving it. So we have to have a special meeting by this Friday. We will need a quorum present. It will likely be that one item of business. So I just need to see if we need to see when the assessors will have their work complete. And then we also need to look at scheduling it because of the notice. Realistically, Friday afternoon's the first one that we're going to be able to do because of the 72-hour time. So I just need to make sure that we can have 3 of y'all here at maybe 1 o'clock Friday.
I think Friday, because we have to have a notice.
Mm-hmm.
What time?
Well, it has to be 72 hours after this concludes. So when I can get the public notice out, I would say noon or 1 Friday, somewhere around in there, if I can get 3 of y'all. I don't think y'all 3
Mr.
can.
Lopez, you have anything wrong with Friday?
So I can be there.
Okay, Friday.
Okay. Thank you. And George, Steven, that shouldn't be a problem for y'all at that point. Okay, great. Now, you can be here. Or somebody to take minutes real quick. Okay, great. Yay, team. Okay, thank you. The next one that I wanted to present and included up there with y'all, we just received a one-page summary on the behavioral health feasibility study, and this was the one page that the company put together. We, of course, have our feasibility study listed on our website, and we will put this one up there as well for the one page. But a lot of what was driving this was the fact that a couple of area representatives from city and county administrators went to Santa Fe and met with some of the personnel they were able to get meetings with. I think they met with Mr. Abbey with LFC. They were able to meet with Dr. Kathy Kunkel and another representative from the 4th floor, as well as Dr. Scrace. So they had a variety of meetings scheduled last Tuesday. Due to HR requirements, I wasn't able to attend, but I know that the county manager from Curry attended, and the city mayor from Clovis, as well as the deputy city manager from Clovis, both attended and just represented, like, this is what we're working on. Here's our collaboration. Here's what our ask is going to be. They felt like overall the meetings went positively with the health and human services and Department of Health type area. There's some work that will need to be done within the legislature in terms of the ask and the regional approach and such. And they also encouraged us to pick up additional counties, potentially even the ones up north, like Colfax, Union, Harding, all of those along the Texas border and everything. They did express some concern over the size of the beds that the contracted company identified in terms of, I think it was the 90 some odd beds, 96 or something that they had recommended. They think that might be large. I tend to trust the company that actually was hired to do this and did the study because they reviewed the data. But in listening to that, just making sure that we have it phased appropriately, that we can build a shell and then finish those out and do it in phases. I mean, there's multiple ways to come at this project, but we're way ahead of the other areas. They said that they had been approached by some of the other local governments in terms of utilization of opioid dollars. But no one was at this point. No one had some planning, and nobody was looking at engaging in that second phase. And so it was also included on all of the ICIPs for our local area. As y'all will recall, it was included on y'all. So feel like we're in a very strong position going into this year's legislative activities. And part of that is, again, tying into the next one, where Tax and Rev presented to the Legislative Finance Committee. They shared that obviously there was overall more positive outlook for New Mexico. The Consensus Revenue Estimating Group, made up of state agency economists and economists from the Legislative Finance Committee, forecasting an improved revenue outlook for fiscal years 2023 and 2024 versus the previous years. The state and federal unemployment rate forecast sees continued national employment recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic and have returned to pre-pandemic unemployment rate levels. National unemployment rate has declined to 3.5 as of July 2022. New Mexico's unemployment is at 4.9 as of June of 2022. And the severance tax revenues are projected to increase from $644 million in fiscal year 2022 to $987 million in fiscal year 2023. And federal and state rents and royalty revenues are projected to increase from $808 million in 22 to $1.01 billion in fiscal year 2023. So that in combination with the oil and gas reports that we receive in our area, the volume is down, but the price is up. So you see that they're on average to increase about 50% in oil and gas or oil production here in Roosevelt County in terms of what they're tracking in 2022 through June is right at 19.3 million in oil value, and the whole year of 21 was 28 million. So they are tracking for about a 50% increase. Okay, so quick update on the courthouse. The compressor's out. We did order just over right about 12,000. That the purchase order was issued last week as soon as we got the quote. We are waiting on supply chain issues like everything else that we're dealing with in this nation, but it's supposed to be coming in. Gary is working closely with them. So we are continuing to monitor that. He did bring in some of the portacools. It's hard to offer much of the relief, obviously, here with the humidity and such, but he is trying, and it's got fans everywhere, but like Ms. Nass shared, it's kind of hard when you just kind of move the hot air around. So trying to work through this as best we can. And the last thing that we need to talk about is the October meeting date. So currently we have them scheduled for the 4th and the 18th. And if the commission wishes to keep them there, then that is okay. It's just some of us will be gone for some of those meetings. So specifically in October, the 17th through the 19th, New Mexico Courts Behavioral Health Summit, which includes both myself, Administrator Ramsey, local representatives from the district attorney's office, the district courts. So each judge in the judicial districts and in the counties put together a team. This has been something that's been scheduled and ongoing since the pandemic in 2019 or 2020, and just continued to be rolled because they had trouble finding any kind of dates to schedule it. They would schedule it and then have to cancel it and move it. So we will be out for that last meeting in October. So we could potentially look at scheduling one meeting in October on the 11th if the commission so wishes, much like we did in August with one meeting, but wanted to ask y'all what worked best for the board.
I'm all right with the one on the 11th. Tina, do you have conflict with that? Mr. Savage?
That would fit. I'm good.
Commissioner Lopez?
I am good.
Let's schedule the one meeting in the October on the 11th.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the end. Sorry, it was a lot. I would stand for any questions or anything y'all, the commission needs.
I think we'll just go on to commissioners and we can answer your questions. Sound good?
That sounds good. I have a lot.
So, before you start,
You just wait. You give me
I
when you
want
want
to
to.
see Lieutenant
Yes.
Javier's out there,
Good.
Sanchez. I'd like to give him his. Hey, you gotta get your picture made.
What's that?
Picture made. We got one of those lines. See how tall you are.
My mugshot.
So for 15 years of service.
There you go.
Super
Sorry, Ed.
excited to recognize you for that.
15.
Oh.
Hey, she wants our picture.
1, 2, 3. Very
Thank you,
nice.
guys.
No,
Okay, Miss Dixon.
Oh, you
I
get
was
to me
afraid he'd
last.
get
I
a.
don't
I was
care.
afraid he'd get a call in.
No, that's good. I don't care when you get to me. It's fun.
Oh, let's just start with Miss Dixon.
Okay. First, I would like to start with saying I want to give a huge shout out to Gary and Anthony. They worked so hard for weeks leading up to the fair, the whole week of the fair. It didn't matter what was going on. You could find either one of them at any given time out there. I mean, from sun up to sundown. And I just want to give a very huge thank you to them for all that they've done because
I believe
They're
at
awesome.
8 o'clock at night I saw Anthony dumping trash.
Yes.
at dark, after dark. So
Hmm.
they,
I saw them out there after 10 o'clock. Yep. During the dance,
In the
they were
middle of
cleaning up. Yep.
way to go.
So huge shout out to them. Um, so I wanted to tell y'all, I went to a New Mexico, not New Mexico counties, New Mexico Municipal League. They had their annual meeting. And so I went up to that in Albuquerque this past week. They had a couple of different workshops that I went to. You know me, I'm going to go to all the stuff I can. So I wanted to share some of the stuff that I got from the workshops. One of them was that I went to was called Successful City County Collaboration. And it was done with Lincoln County on the way that they work within their county and with their different municipalities. And they had given a little bit of thing on what was important and what helped them get through when they had the big fire and stuff down there. Um, One of the things that they said was to be sure you combine assets and resources in anything that you're doing when you're trying to make a collaboration. Be sure you're combining your assets and resources, and to remember that not everything that comes across is going to follow jurisdictional lines. That sometimes you're going to have to cross over just to help out or whatever. That everyone in the county is a county resident no matter where they live, whichever municipality, whatever, they're still a county resident. That the county and villages, the towns or whatever, need to work together for the needs of others. City nor county, when they were out and they had all these fires and they were having to go around, they said the one thing that they noticed from the relationship that they already had, there was nobody out asking, now, are you a city resident or a county resident? They were all just out helping. Each other was helping. They were working, blading roadways as they needed it, cleaning up whatever. But they said they've always done that, and they still do that. The city will blade a county road if it needs it, and they're right there, and it's just whoever's there. They don't even think about having to ask. The city does it for the county does it for each other. And they said, you got to remember that when people come to visit, live, work, or anything in any municipality, that Roosevelt County or any other county is going to benefit from that. But also the municipalities benefit from the county, because all of your rural people, they're going to shop and everything within the municipalities. So it is a two-way street on helping each other. They said one of the best ways that you can start a collaboration, a friendship, whatever you want to call it, is to offer letters of support. Like when they're going out for money, offer a letter of support for them, or they could do it for us. Anything like that to try to build a relationship. But that the number one priority is to provide service to the constituents, and that you just got to find that common ground. Maybe try to help each other in little ways to make it come out in the big ways. So that was one of the meetings. So another one was, it was called the First Amendment Auditors. There is a group of people that are going around because of the qualified immunity thing, and they're called First Amendment Auditors. They're going to different public facilities. Sometimes they wear hoodies and masks. Sometimes they just come in, but they'll come in with their camera and they'll just start filming you. And they'll just film whatever they want to. Like they can come in, but they can't come past your glass into your restricted area. But in the open area, like anywhere in the halls of the courthouse, in front of it, any public building, they can go in, they can video. They're doing it. They have scanners, and they're doing it with accidents that are happening, car wrecks, things like that. If there is not crime scene tape, that is public property. So even if you're on a wreck and you have whatever going on out here in the street, they can come over with their camera, video, whatever they want. You cannot, you can tell them to leave, but it's not advisable because that is public property. they're turning around and suing, and they have settled court costs anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. This is how these people are making money. They'll come in, and one gentleman just put up, they were coming into his office, and he just stuck a piece of paper up in front of their cell phone and told them to stop videoing him. There they got sued because you cannot stop them from coming into public property, videoing anything they want to video. And so they were just given a huge shout out for people to understand that you've got to watch out for that, because they can come into your office, they can come here in the courthouse, and it's none of your business why they're videoing. It's none of our business what their intent is or what they plan on doing with it, because it is public property. They wait for you to call the police department and get everybody involved. Because of the qualified immunity, they can sue the individuals as well as the county. And that's how they're making their money. So they said the best thing to do when they come in is to do nothing. Just ignore them, act like they're not even there, because they're just looking to get a rise out of people. So I think that might be all I had to talk about. Oh, no, it isn't. So I got an invitation, an email that got lost in my email, y'all. Sorry. So I'll send it to you. Canon has sent an email wanting to know if we would like to be interested in going through for a walkthrough of the Melrose bombing range. They sent us an invitation if we would like to go, and I'll forward that to you if y'all were interested.
You know the dates?
They said, let me get my email. We can pick the date. It said that he had requested it on the MAFR whenever is convenient. He'd prefer to do one fell swoop. He needs to know how many so he knows if he needs a bigger van. But he said mornings are generally better weather-wise, but we may see some aircraft activity after 12 until the 19th of September when that moves to 4. So perhaps early afternoon is better. And just to let him know if y'all are interested and if you'd like to go on a walkthrough. Or
They would have to do a public notice and we'd all be out there.
And who is he that's inviting you?
Steve Coffin. So
How did you make contact with him?
my brother-in-law works out there at the Air Force Base, and I had said something to my brother-in-law about the fact that I had never been on the bombing range, and he said he would see what he could do, because I was talking about it because we had the gentleman come and we were talking about the road, and I said I had never been out there. And so my brother-in-law is Charles Dixon, and he works out there, and so he had just reached out and said I'd like to go out there. So that's what I got. So if y'all are interested, we have that. And I believe that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Mr. Grotter, you have? Yes.
I just want to give a special thanks to Lily and Amber for the work they've done on her budget. They put it together, and without the two of them and probably everybody else in the county, I don't know, and probably yourself. But thank you for the job y'all have done, and appreciate it very much.
Mr. Savage, you turn your mic on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I get text, his mic ain't on, so yeah.
I have a thank you note that Chairman Lee and myself received at the awards assembly at the youth assembly at the Roosevelt County Fair. And this is a thank you letter from the Fair Board. And I'll run through these right quick. It says, Amber, thanks for all you do. We appreciate all your committee members' hard work. Thank you, Sheila Hayes. Thank you all for the great work on the grounds and effort to make things better. It's great to see these improvements. Wesley Williams. Thank you for all the blessings at the fairground. It is wonderful. Brenda Harden. Thank you for making our fairgrounds more inviting and making our fair more enjoyable. Jeremy Barrett. Thank you for all the work at the fair. Tony Whitecotton. Thank you so much for all your hard work this year on the grounds. We appreciate you so much. Brandy Rowden Urias. Thanks for investing so much into our county kids. These improvements have helped so much. Wayne McAllister. Thank you so much for your hard work and all the improvements at the fair. April McDermott. Thank you for all the support y'all provided our kids. Eddie Wilhoit. And again, to reiterate what Commissioner Dixon said, Gary Spinks and Anthony Ortega do a wonderful job. They're hardworking and very capable. And, being an ag teacher, a lot of times preach, it's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. I'll tell you a story about Anthony. I was going to the steer show, so I had to park over behind the Jake Lopez Bulk over there. So I drove all the way down to the end, there's no parking place there. So I'm driving back, and I drove back by. I smelled something, smelled real good. Yeah. And so I got on my pickup, started walking over, and Anthony was cooking on his disco out there behind their camper and shop deal. So I said, hey, sit down here. I about got this done. I'll fix you. So I sat down and visited with Mrs. Spinks and waited and waited. He left. He said, I'm going to go heat up the tortillas. Well, he never came back. So I thought, well, he probably got called to duty. He's working or something. So I went on to the steer show, and I was sitting there. About 30 minutes in there to the steer show, here came Anthony with a plate of tortillas and stuff on his disco. He brought it from there over to me. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, in terms of your altitude. These guys are great. And y'all know Tina was there. We were there work days. Paul and Vicky, y'all all did such a great job, but I have never been there where those guys weren't there working. It does determine how difficult or how dirty the job, cleaning out the sewers, whatever. I mean, they do it. And so I want to be sure that they got included on this thing. Other than that, I have something else that I'd like to discuss with you. I have been asked by several of my constituents, and not just my constituents, but many constituents, not from my district, to bring before you for discussion and possible action 3 motions, and I would like to have them placed on the agenda for the next meeting. I'm not prepared to discuss these things at this time, but I want to get the commissioners served notice so that they can perhaps educate themselves and come prepared at the meeting to discuss some of these things. Number 1 is a motion to remove drop boxes. 2, to cease mail-in voting. And 3, to remove the Dominion machines. I said, I'm not prepared to discuss these things, but I have been asked by many of my constituents to bring this. So out of respect to my constituents and out of respect to my fellow commissioners, because I think we need to kind of educate ourselves, because the public is wanting us to address this, and we are representatives of the public. And so taking that into concern, That's why I'm doing this. So I have other comments to make later on the agenda concerning the joint powers agreement. That's all I have for now.
Well, I don't want to repeat everything everybody said off the fairgrounds, but it was just wonderful. Our sidewalks, oh my goodness, everybody talked how great it was. And y'all all know I'm coming off the commission board, but one of the things I'd like to see the commissioners address out there is the main gate to the sidewalks is still kind of loose gravel. And there was a few of our older, I hate to say that much among them, residents, they had a hard time walking through that. It would be nice to see some firm walkway area. I don't know if it would be chip seal pavement or cement or something to get to the other part, because I think you're going to see a lot more people next year out there after they've seen how easy it was to get around. It's not the loose gravel that you couldn't push a stroller through or anything, which is, after COVID, it's great to see the community out again, seeing each other. I think our fair is just fixing to grow, so I just want to let the other commissioners know that I'd like to see that, if there's something y'all can do for me. With that,
Are you talking about the east gate?
the west gate,
I mean, the west gate?
the west gate.
No.
Because on Saturday morning, they had the gate shut to what I would call the south, and everybody had to come in that way. Well, oh my goodness, the pet show, the stick horse race, that thing was crazy. The pavilion was completely full with people standing everywhere around. That pavilion building was plumb full. It'll be something for the fair board to discuss, but we can make it easier for those. Sheila happened to loan me her gator, and I gave a lot of people rides back and forth that day, and even out to the rodeo. I don't, and that was another thing I was going to tell y'all. If you're going to have some rodeo events at the fairgrounds in the outdoor arena, we're going to need to try to figure out somewhere to park on some dirt for the horses, because they can't park on the nice parking lot asphalt. And you mentioned earlier about getting in some of the jail area. Yeah, they was just trying to find somewhere to call it, but there's not enough parking for a rodeo event. Well, no, because Paul, you can't park on the asphalt with the horses. Yeah, and there's just not a. I don't know if that's something we should look at. Maybe with the privets that have the backs that we've tried, and even the mounted patrol area is not too far over there, which is the levee season. It couldn't be. We could put a gate or something. People park and come back and forth. Anyway, that's all I have. We'll go on to new business. Oh, Mr. Lopez, do you have something you want to?
Yeah,
You're sure breaking up, Mr. Lopez. You're not coming through.
hear me?
Now I can. Yeah, either you're being funny or we can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes,
Can you guys hear me now?
yes, that's a lot better.
I had it on my speaker, so I apologize. I just turned off the speaker. It's going to coincide with what Commissioner Dixon said earlier, city-county relationship. We used to have what was called APAs, joint-power agreements, and I would love for us to get together with the city officials and start doing that again. I would love for the commission to support me in my initiative for decorative fencing at the fair. You see improvements online. We've got Boston, but I would love to see improvements online. And then the tip still, that's what you mentioned, Mr. Chairman. Tip still on those areas that have the loose gravel. And then I would also like to see about us seeing who owns the properties in and around our county fair. If we work something out, or we can even maybe lease for that week some of the property lines, or there'd be additional parking and stuff to get for the trailers that come in with the horses and stuff. So that's pretty much all I have. That was funny that you guys all talked about the same topics that I had listed, talked about, but the number one thing for me would be the decorative fencing. It's looking so nice out there. I would love to get rid of that painting and see if we can pursue some legislative money to make it look really, really nice. And that's all I have, Commissioner. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Lopez. All right, let's move on to new business. Item A, discussion of connected public service negotiations with the city of Portales. Commissioner Savage, Ms. Hamilton, which one are you with?
I'll just be quick. We just leave this on there for each meeting, as we've said and we've shared continually over the last several months. The negotiations are ongoing. We did have one meeting. We presented a draft agreement with the goal of having something for our commission, our council to consider by the September 20th meeting. That was what was jointly agreed to at this negotiation. And we continue to meet. So this is just the part with the dispatch services and that JPA of what it's doing. So we want to get that one handled first, and then we'll move on to the next round of the additional JPAs. So that's really all I have to share. We just want to leave this on there as a continuation because meetings are ongoing. We haven't heard anything from them the last couple weeks, but they had conveyed that they were going to be busy with meetings, trainings, and the municipal league conference. So, Commissioner Savage.
Summed it up. Point out on the, on about the, effective date, 18th, after our meeting with the executive council, Mrs. Hamilton emailed all the copy of that draft. So it's a joint powers agreement. It's about 8 pages long, and I would like to point out the complexity of it. Bring your attention to the amount of work that was necessary to compile this. I understand that Mrs. Hamilton and Mr. Gregson used the Lee County as a template to formulate one that would fit our county. But it's quite a piece of work. I think they did a good job. If you haven't studied it much, I'd like to again consult that email that she sent to each of us. It's a copy of that joint powers agreement. And these negotiations, I take to heart what Tina said about building a rapport with the city council, working together effectively with a positive attitude. We're all serving the same people. I think that's important. I'm not sure in the process of these negotiations that is always occurred. Any communication on my part with the council, they may have felt condescending. I'm sure it was unintentional. But I think that we need to work on our relationship with the council members, because I have, gone to Hobbs with the young club and Javier to visit that facility down there, and there are people on that council who are just like us. They're just good people trying to serve. I have a lot of respect for them. So I think we need to work on that relationship. Not all of our negotiations have been enjoyable. So what I would say is through it all, Manager Hamilton's conduct has been highly ethical, very courteous, respectful, professional. She has always maintained her composure and represented us in this commission in a very professional manner. I'm amazed at her knowledge, not just about dispatch, but a host of other things that we're faced to do. And I was like going out, Mrs. Hamilton is doing a great job and under highly stressful conditions. And I'd like to commend her on that and bring it to the commission's attention that yes, we're very fortunate to have her representing us and helping in the negotiations. When times when I lose my composure, she's maintained hers, and I want to thank you. But this is a complicated kind of price agreement. Contains a lot of different facts and figures and percentages. She's to be commended. Mr. Medicine. There's a lot of figures.
Sure.
On that, I would like to say that I would like to see us try to get somewhere with this. I know that that you guys have put forth a lot of effort. I feel like there's some conflict. There's been conflict from the beginning. I don't know if it's hurt feelings. I don't know what it is. I have checked around, and even like when Curry and the city of Clovis, when they do their negotiations, they do not have the county manager or the city manager in the negotiations. They take 2 commissioners and 2 councilmen and put them together, and they work out the negotiations. They go back and refer to their managers for the information for whatever that they need. I also thought, maybe we could throw out there. I think you're doing a great job. I think you need to be on there. Maybe we could suggest they pick one commissioner from here, and we get to pick one council member that, we all think that we could work with, that we could talk to, that we could sit down and work through things. I mean, anything to try to make things a little more, I don't want to say personal, but to get more of a relationship type thing going, to see if there's something like that we could do. Because I think that even though I think we're making progress, I still don't feel like we're making that bond or that relationship with Portales or any other municipality. And I would like to see us to do that. That's all I have.
More or less, the balls in that court. Waiting. Anything to relationship council. We're willing. So if you have any others, proceed this. Might be very I couldn't hear it. I think he might have been reading it. So, but if there's something you want to do that think you will improve, I'm all for it. I know that we went to, when Javier and Mrs. Cordova and Officer Bowman went to Hobbs, I thought we had a recognition stream. They had any officer foods, I couldn't tell. They just need to go eat with them. I didn't have time to eat, probably should have. I think there are people that aren't, people on the city council who are willing to establish a great relationship, work effectively, and share. We had a little bit of that when we had that meeting on the 11th.
I think that too, with like, a lot of them already know, like Commissioner Lopez. So, I didn't know, maybe they would be more comfortable, I don't know who they, if they pick him, but I figured, they might pick him and maybe be more comfortable talking to him, the majority of them, talking to him. He's been on both sides or whatever. And I don't know if they want to do that. I just thought that might be something, then they would have some say in, what goes there, and we could pick one that we thought we could work with from there, and just, I don't know.
All right, I think we've discussed this enough until we have some more information from the city. We're going to move on to item B. Recommendation and proposal regarding South Roosevelt Road 6 between Industrial Drive and South Roosevelt Road U.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So as Commissioner Dixon referred to, examples of working closely, and actually we've been doing that very well with the city. Our road department shreds, patches, does a variety of different services on city roads that still service, county residents. 6 is one of them. And this is one of the roads that Mr. Lovato and I met about and really want to try to push something through. So if you'll recall, and Commissioner Lopez was part of the discussion, we really wanted to put a proposal out there of being able to overhaul, because we had all gotten a lot of complaints about this road. The road is beyond repair at this point. It's going to have to be completely ground up, rebuilt, new base course, new subgrade, everything. And we had given them a quote in October of 2021 as to what that would require. We have seen over a $15,000, right around a $15,000 increase in materials just from October of last year to August of this year. So we would like to try to present some different options of how we can really encourage partnership with the city so we can do this. Y'all will recall that we actually entered into governmental memorandum of agreement or understanding with the city, which we have to do for any road work that's formal. So it's one thing we can shred, we can patch and do those kind of things. But anytime we do, like when we did we entered into a formal agreement with the city. The county did the work with the city's permission, and we secured that money from the wind farm in regards to that road deterioration that they had caused. So this is very similar to that. What we want to bring before the commission today is just the total dollars of what it would be. So again, we offered for the county to complete the work because we know that the road department there at the city is not as equipped for this kind of work. We have all the machinery, we have the expertise, we have the staff to be able to do this. It will be all about scheduling, because now with it being August, realistically, we're looking next spring at the soonest that we can be able to do this, and we can start and get the subgrade work and everything knocked out to where we're ready for the paving as soon as the weather would allow. When you look at the cost, so now we're looking at just over 100,000 in materials, and the labor and equipment is right around 37,000. So what we thought might be something for the commission to consider is to, if you add up all of it total and divide it in half, that's about 137,000 and change total. You could just say, hey, we'll pay 50%, y'all pay 50%, or the county just has the labor and equipment, and then we offer to do 50% of the materials. It's whatever the commission desires. It's just, this road needs to be done. and we want to partner with them in some way to help them get this done. Our understanding was they were trying to include some of this type stuff in their budget. I don't know what was included, but we would like to reach out with them. We just need some commission direction on how y'all would like to proceed. And y'all will probably recall, like in September, we all got a bunch of complaints. It was right after the water and the trucking companies have quite a bit of trouble coming in and out of there. And this is that section. It's at 1 mile and it's from Industrial West to you. And it is, again, a city road. It's annexed in. That's how they pick up their airport. We just think it's imperative that we partner with them and try to get an agreement, again, for another road enhancement, much like what we did on you. I would stand for any questions.
Yes, Commissioner Lopez, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys can hear me well. Amber, we have talked about this road quite a bit. Is there any way that, because individuals that live off of that road didn't vote for the city election, is there any way that we can strip the annexation off and just be 100% responsible for that road? Because it is a danger for public safety right now. I've driven on it numerous times, and it's just horrible, especially at night, or people that are not familiar with that road visiting. Is there a way that we could do that so we don't have to partner up with the city?
So, Commissioner, my understanding is no, because the annexation has to be a continuous drawn line and the airport has to remain in the city limits. So the best route is to find a joint agreement with the city for the repair, because they would not be able to just remove the annexation because they have to have those continuous borders.
Okay, so I'm not trying to be mean or
Contiguous.
anything, but
Sorry.
I've been trying to work on Lime for many, many, many years, and we've hit nothing but brick wall. We're working on fix right now, and there's just got to be a way, like Commissioner Sept said, there's got to be a way that we can collaborate, and even if we're good to disagree, we have ways on things. So I just think we need some type of strategy to work with the city to be able to work on these initiatives, because our community is depleting right before our eyes every single day. All it is worsening, and no one's doing anything about it. So I want to be about it and not talk about it. But it's very dangerous. Lime is horrible. Pitch streets are horrible. So anything we can do, I would really, really appreciate if we had the support of our commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lopez.
So in doing the math, so part of what, just to build on what he's saying, that's why we were recommending like offering to pick up a portion of the materials and the cost. So before we had asked the city to take care of the 85,000 roughly in material costs, and then we would assume the almost 35,000 equipment and labor. Now we're recommending that y'all consider offering some portion of the materials as well. So even if you split that and you said, hey, let's half the materials. I mean, we're again using all of our labor, all of our equipment, all of our contracts and such. Then that would be about 87,000 that would be shifted to the county, and then about 50,000 for the city. So we felt like that might be, a really gracious offer to be able to extend and motivate them to be able to repair this roadway.
Ms. Emily, I got a question for you. I'm all for fixing this road. I've been big to say about how the no transportation for the people that live in the county there on the road they drive every day. But I also know the trucking companies use that, and they're having a hard time and they're upset. It might be something for the commission and the city to go talk to these companies, and they may be willing to put in portions of money. I know in the past, some of the chip seal roads out in the county were paid by some of the dairymen. I think it'd be beneficial to discuss it with DFA, Mymar, Red Stag, Western Dairy Transport, some of those trucking companies and milk hauling companies, if they'd be willing to fund portions of it to bring the cost down on the city and the county. but I am for what we got to do to try to get that road fixed for our residents out there. I know that's Mr. Grider's area, but everybody out there has, like Mr. Savage said, everybody's number and a call.
Well, I've had a couple of transport companies call me, talk to me, and I tried to explain to them that it was in the city. We'd like to help and try to do what we could, but it's the crossing that line.
Is that
We have to
something
have
we
an
need the
agreement
city's
first.
approval for us to go out to those people to get if there's a donation, or how would that work?
So we have to have city approval to do any work on that road because it is a city road. I don't necessarily say that we have to have their approval, but if we're working on building relationships and rebuilding relationships, it definitely needs to be a collaborative effort. So if that's something the commission wishes to do, then I think it should be something that we approach jointly and put together a letter from both entities that we could both sign off on, like both the commission and the council, to be able, this is an action item on ours. The goal was just like we offered with you and the first time with 6, we would be able to offer a draft proposal of here's what we would like to do. So I would like some direction to be able to do that. And if that's one of the recommendations of the commission, then we can certainly draft that letter as a representative of all the commission saying this is what the commission would like to do. We would really like to reach out to those transport companies and those businesses that are using this to see if they could partner in helping us purchase some of these materials, and then the county could invoice, after the repairs were made. But again, it's going to be a complete rebuild for this 1 mile.
Well, as a commissioner, this is what I'd like to see, and I don't welcome anybody's opinion on it. Is I'd like to reach out to the city, like you said. And I want y'all's opinion to see about partnering 50-50 on doing the road and looking to see what money we can get from those businesses and transportation companies to help out, and that come off the top. So I think earlier you saying like $160 something thousand to do the total job. That was labor and 137. So say we get 30,000 from those businesses combined, and then we would split the 100,000 with the city, because I really would like to see those residents out there be taken care of.
That's a wonderful idea.
One of the
Hold on, Commissioner Lopez.
Oh, sorry.
one of the companies that did call me and talk to me about it said that he's being out so much in just repairs to his truck and his equipment that he had considered even making an offer.
I think you'll see a lot more come in than you have. I know how much work these companies do at other drop yards and lots, and I think you'll see more than you're expecting. I could be wrong. I've been
And
many
I'm
times.
thinking, I think this project needs to be expedited, and this would be my recommendation. With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, that's a great idea to propose, but that's going to just, I think just, so let me get, I just think it's going to delay everything so much more. My recommendation would be to get a couple of city officials, a couple of county officials with a letter of support from all the council and all the commissioners, go up to the legislative session, propose it to our elected officials, and see if we can just get some money to get it done. I think that we could do that. We could pull that through in today's session without a doubt. That'd be my recommendation.
Commissioner Lopez's recommendation was he'd like to see 2 city councilmen and 2 county commissioners go to Santa Fe legislation and try to get some money to knock that road out. Is that correct, Commissioner Lopez?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, just so that you're aware, if that is the route that the council wishes to go, that will be further delays, because even if you are awarded that funding, the contracts won't be out until after the next fiscal year in July. So the soonest that Rick's looking at being able to schedule any of this would be next spring anyways, with all of our existing, but that would be sooner than seeking this for the legislative route. Now, if y'all wish to go the legislative route, there will just be additional delays because we will have to wait. And we're just now, as you see on our agenda, we're just now getting contracts and agreements for some. We still do not have all of our agreements for capital outlay awards. So that will be further delays. We would be potentially looking at a 2-year delay rather than a 1 year.
As chairman, I would like to have Miss Hamilton send a letter to the city, see if they're willing to come discuss it or meet about this road. Because I think before we can make any decision what we're going to do, we'd have to see if the city's willing to joint with us on it. Do you believe that?
I agree with that, Mr. Chairman.
So, Ms. Hamilton, if you would send a letter out to the city, tell them. Everybody good?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's go on to item C. Request approval and authorization additional road chip seal enhancements FY23. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes, Commissioner. So what we are presenting, as you'll likely recall, a couple years ago, the company that does our oil, Holly Frontier, had some extra oil that they couldn't get anywhere else. And so we utilized it at the fairgrounds, and that was what started. We did the initial chip seal for those parking lots, and then y'all came back in with those micro seals to be able to finish it and seal it off like a pavement finish. So what they have again approached Mr. Lovato about is they have approximately 150 tons of HFE 100P, which is the top. And there are some key projects that Mr. Lovato wanted to have presented for consideration. What we would be asking for is about $120,000 in additional expenses for road maintenance, and this would be specific to repairing these roads. These are the roads that are on the LGRF projects most commonly, and they get rolled because they're the ones we just can't quite get to. So one is Vans. And as you know, we've got the sub base and the base course, all of that laid out. So all we would have to do is just shine it, put a top on it, maybe a few loads, but we would be able to go in there and chip seal. It would be a little bit more expensive because we're going to have to buy the oil for the first layer because we need to get the 90. But then the 100 HFE would be the top layer. And we would have to get the chips and such. So that would be one. R.5 from the city limits to 8. S from the city limits to 9. And R from Spruce to 3. All need it. And then if they're with the additional stuff that is needed, he does have some rock on the yard, and we would like to go ahead and reseal the area where they park the carnival at the fairgrounds, because that's the one area that has not been chip sealed again. And I don't know if y'all walked the carnival. I'm sure you all rode the rides. But there is some fraying on the edges. It's starting to really encroach with that. So in speaking with Gary and Rick and those are the area. And there may not be anything left after these roads. But if there is, then that would be the area where they would like to take it so that we could get that covered again. It will not impact the grading, the sloping, the drainage. Everything would be complementary to what's already out there, but just to get another level, another layer on there and just keep what we have intact and get a new finish on that. So again, we would just be asking for the authorization of approximately $120,000 for the additional materials, the chip and stuff. But
How many tons was that?
let me double check. Hold on. 150 tons. And actually, the cost of it is about 120 as well, 150.
That's what I was
So it's about equal to or a little bit greater of what we're receiving versus what we will be paying out.
I move we approve.
I second. Are we ready to vote?
I am.
All those in favor of approval of the authorization of the chip seal enhancement FY23, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Approval.
Thank you.
Oh, well, don't turn it over yet. This is a good one. Item D, request commission to approve issuance of formal letter to New Mexico State University supporting utilization of Eastern New Mexico University for New Mexico FFA state contest. Mr. Savage.
Hey, a little background on this. Every year, usually around Martin Luther King's birthday, we have the state FFA elementary law finals at Eastern New Mexico University in the Cup. And it was from as far as Silver City to, maybe as far as Clayton, Volcano. But different teams, different times, but people from all over the state come here. And we would like, but there is talk now about moving that contest. That we're going to, there's the state FFA advisor, Dr. Gary Acock at New Mexico State University. And Russell Walters, who is the executive secretary, indicated that they were considering moving it. Different reasons for moving it, but it's a lot of here, there, hard to say, a lot of different opinions of why. But they wanted to move it. First, they wanted to move it to Mexico State, and they wanted to move it to Artesia. Now, at this current time, the status is that they will keep it at that date, on Martin Luther King's birthday, but they're not sure where they want to have it. But we would like for them to continue to have it at Eastern, because if the more activities, youth activities we have at Eastern New Mexico University, it's sort of an advertisement for our university for students in agriculture. Those students can come to this university, see our facilities, and meet our professors, and be informed that we have programs at Eastern New Mexico University that they can acquire a degree in agriculture, maybe a degree in agriculture education at our university, and it can save them a considerable amount of money in tuition, because there are many job opportunities available for those students in our community. So, thank you. So, I first became aware of this, as y'all did, because the city council had sent a proclamation to the Board of Regents concerning, expressing their concern over recruitment and the number of students on campus, and how since COVID and other factors, the number of students on campus had declined, and it has decreased the labor force available for businesses in our community. And the money that those students are spending is affecting our business and our livelihood. So they sent that proposal to try to do a better job, encouraging the regents to probably do a better job in recruiting to get our numbers back up in the dorms. So, being familiar, as probably some of y'all are, with the agriculture program, Dr. Baldock, I visited with her, and she is interested in doing more in public relations, going out into the community, and she's taken her students to several of the FFA chapters all around our area and done a presentation on what's available in her program. So she's trying to do a better job in recruitment. But I would like for the commission to send a letter to Dr. Acock at New Mexico State University, encouraging him to leave that contest at Eastern, so they can draw students from all over the state here, so they can come to see, yes, we do have an agriculture department, And you can get a degree here, and because of the job opportunities in our area in agriculture, you can kind of work your way through and probably save yourself some money. You get the same degree that you might get like going off, spending more money at Texas Tech, West Texas State, and Mexico State University. You can get that same piece of paper that qualify you to be an ag teacher right here, saying you save you money. So it would be good for our community to get more students. And it would also serve those students in our community who can't afford to leave to go to Texas Tech or New Mexico State. So I think it would be a benefit to our students in our community, as well as other students from all around the state, especially those who, we get quite a few students in agriculture and pre-vet that come as members of the rodeo team. And I think it would be easier for Albert to recruit rodeo, people on the rodeo team if they knew that they could come here and get a degree in agriculture. So I think for the benefit of the students and the benefit of the university, I'd like to see them continue to have that event here.
Are you willing to write a letter, or would you like?
She has composed a letter.
Hold on, Mr. Commissioner. Go ahead.
Mrs. Hamilton and I have visited about this formally, and she composed a letter that I've read, and I think it's a very good letter. I would like to have Mrs. Hamilton read the letter so that y'all will know what it said.
Hold on. Commissioner Lopez, do you have something you want to say before we read the letter?
Yes, I 100% agree with Commissioner Savage. I would be in support of, and I would even, if there was a special committee that was assigned for us to advocate to keep it here, I would be delighted to be in that committee. But I agree with him 100%. Starting out with the letter, but like I said, if we need to meet them in person, I would be more than willing to meet with the rep from New Mexico State.
Thank you. Ms. Hamilton?
Okay, so the draft of the letter just reads, please accept this letter of support submitted on behalf of the Roosevelt County Board of Commission for the continuation of hosting the New Mexico State FFA Leadership Development and Parliamentary Procedure Contest at Eastern New Mexico University. ENMU has successfully hosted this event in years past and boasts a beautiful campus and well-equipped facilities for such competitions. The county will support this contest, and the commission and staff are willing to volunteer and serve as needed by ENMU staff and faculty. ENMU has a long-standing tradition of providing a balanced, hands-on approach for students pursuing a degree in agriculture. Agriculture is a primary economic driver for this region and supports student growth by providing numerous employment opportunities, further complementing the classroom experience. We firmly believe events such as this provide a wonderful opportunity for New Mexico FFA students to experience a delightful taste of ENMU and have a glimpse of all the university has to offer. Our entities have enjoyed very supportive professional relations over the years, and we continue to pledge our support for ENMU in collaboration with New Mexico FFA events. Thank you for your time and consideration. Please let us know if you need anything further, as we are happy and willing to assist.
So let's go into Dr. Gary Aycock, who's the state supervisor for agricultural education in New Mexico. I believe that the administration at EMU will follow suit with their own invitation. Hopefully we can keep that and we can get more students coming to our community.
With that, I'll make the motion, Mr. Savage, to
Second.
accept the letter that is written to be sent to Dr. Aycock. We got Baldock and Aycock is getting me.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
All those in favor of sending the letter, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Moving on to resolutions. Item A, request to allow a fire danger declaration with Roosevelt County to expire. I'll make the motion that we let the fire danger expire.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving on. Oh, that's resolution. We have to roll call vote. Mr. Grider?
Yes.
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 Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
5 yes votes. Item B, proclamation declaring September as Suicide Prevention Month in Roosevelt County. Mr. Lopez, would you like Ms. Hamilton to speak on that, or?
Yes, please, to come on the phone. It may be hard for individuals to get to that space. So I did read the proclamation. I texted Ms. Hamilton last night, and I'm in full agreement with the proclamation.
Oh, Lil just volunteered.
Yes, so this comes about from the Roosevelt County Health Council and an email chain that they shared as the governor had issued her proclamation as well. We took and built upon a couple of examples I was able to find online, and here is what the proclamation reads: declaring September 2022 as Suicide Prevention Month in Roosevelt County. Whereas September is known globally as Suicide Prevention Month, the National Suicide Prevention Plus Action Month proclamation was created to raise the visibility of the mental health resources and suicide prevention services available in our community. The goal is to start the conversation about mental health and the impact of suicide to help destigmatize the conversation and help connect people with the appropriate support services. And whereas, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death among adults and the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34 in the United States. And whereas more than 48,000 people die by suicide across the United States each year, with an average of 132 suicides completed daily. And whereas New Mexico ranks fourth in the nation for age-adjusted suicide rates, and New Mexico's suicide rate was 79% higher than the U.S. rate. And whereas in New Mexico, suicide is the second leading cause of death for ages 34 and younger, the fourth leading cause of death for ages 35 to 44, the ninth leading cause of death for ages 55 to 64, the 14th leading cause of death for ages 65 and older, and is the 10th leading cause of death in the state overall. And whereas each and every suicide directly impacts a minimum of 100 additional people, including family, friends, co-workers, neighbors, and community members. And whereas the Roosevelt County Board of Commission publicly places its full support behind those who work in the fields of mental health, education, and law enforcement, and whereas we encourage all residents to take the time to understand the importance of mental health education and recognize that taking care of ourselves and others includes taking care of mental health. And whereas it is essential to share the message that it is okay to ask for help and that individuals struggling with thoughts of suicide or self-harm should be encouraged and assisted in reaching out for help. And in New Mexico, the following phone numbers to reach out for help are available by dialing 988 for behavioral or mental health crisis, the New Mexico Crisis and Access Line at 1-855-662-7474, and the Agora Crisis Line at 505-277-3013 or 855-505-4505. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Roosevelt County Board of Commission do hereby proclaim the month of September 2022 as the National Suicide Prevention Month in Roosevelt County.
Mr. Lopez, would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to say something public. I'll get a little emotional, so sorry guys. 3 years ago, my great niece at 15 gets filed in Albuquerque. She committed suicide. So this is like real close to my heart, and I would love to make the most.
I'll take that as your motion to accept September as Suicide Prevention Month.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Lopez, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
5 yes votes. Thank you.
Sorry, guys.
On to item C. Request for consideration of Resolution 2022-38, restatement of hiring and referral incentive program. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, this is one that, in speaking with Mr. Andrus before his departure, he did recommend that we look at reinstating this for this fiscal year. We have approximately 14 employees that are currently with us that continue to qualify. The cost is going to be less than $10,000 in terms of budget for this based on last year. This is in regards to openings within the detention center and the sheriff's office. It's the same resolution that the commission adopted. The only modifications are the dates. We're asking that it become effective now through the end of June. We are currently hiring in both areas. The sheriff's office has had one opening available for several weeks now. And we are struggling to find qualified candidates to fill that position, certified candidates at this point. And so this would just help us continue in that program and promote that. Again, we're estimating somewhere maybe between 10 to 15,000, and that's probably on the high side of any kind of budget impact. But the reward is, again, any employee that refers someone to apply, and if they are hired, then they qualify. And we have had 2 employees that have qualified for the referral incentive. We know that our current employees are our best billboards and our best recruits, talking about all that the county employment has to offer. So anything that we can do to help continue in that recruitment effort, we just want to see this continued on if the board so wishes.
Is this only for the detention center and the sheriff's office SO, or is if we're looking in another, let's say the road department, somebody refers somebody to the road department and we hire them, is that incentive still available to the employee?
At this point, it is specific for the detention center and the sheriff's office because we had focused on law enforcement, the gear. Now, any employee that refers for those 2 areas is qualified or can qualify for it if we hire it and they stay. It's, again, they have to stay. They get an incentive at 6 months. They get an incentive at 12 months, as y'all have read in the resolution. But no, it does not include referrals for any other openings.
I was just wondering with like needing CDL drivers, other CDL drivers referring, I like my job here, come to work at the county. Why we're not using that to hire in that field.
We can certainly look at
into
that.
it.
I would ask for
This one
y'all
here
to
is
consider this one. And then if we want to look at expanding, I'm happy to consult.
What happened to our, sorry,
No, go ahead. He was just gonna make a motion.
what happened to, are we still doing the stipend, or is that ran out, didn't it?
That all ended in June, and y'all addressed that through the pay plan that y'all adopted. And so all of that, basically, the employees were adjusted to offset the stipends because the stipends weren't long-term. They only, they were with those one-time monies. So now it's permanently absorbed through the personnel budget.
Okay, I remembered something, but I just couldn't remember all of it. Thank you.
They all expired at the end of June. Yes, ma'am. And this referral incentive expired June 30th of 2022 as well.
I move we approve resolution 2022-38.
Second.
Been moved second to approve the resolution 2022-38. Mr. Lopez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes.
Thank you.
Resolution approved. On to item D, request of consideration resolution 2022-39, participate in the capital outlay program administered by the New Mexico Department of Transportation. Ms. Flores. Oh. I was looking that way.
A
Hold on.
request for consideration of resolution 2022-39, participation in capital outlay program administered by New Mexico Department of Transportation. It's a resolution.
Yes.
Well, I think we adopt
Second.
resolution 2022-39.
Second.
Been moved second to accept the resolution 2022-39. Mr. Lopez, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Resolution passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to item 7, procurements, contracts, and agreements. Request for approval of professional services contract with Sean Andreas. Is that how you say it?
Andrus.
Andres. Now I lost where I was. We'll find it again for human resource counseling.
Yes, Commissioner, Mr. Chair, Commissioner. So this professional services agreement was included in your packet. We're looking to continue contracting with him through the end of June, unless sooner terminated. It just depends. We're still in the process of interviewing and trying to fill this position. It has been a little more difficult to find qualified applicants for HR. Currently, there are 3 major governmental entities seeking HR professionals right now. So we continue to aggressively search them out. We are calling and scheduling interviews that day or the next day. So we are being very prompt on that. But at this point, we are asking, much like what we have done with Miss Olds, to have a contract with the prior person, because Sean is willing to come in and help train the next one as they come in and work, whether it's after hours or on the weekend when he's back in the area from Roswell, so that he can provide just some oversight. We again have standard operating procedures and policies and a lot of things in place, but there's a lot of hands-on experience that could be shared.
I move to approve item 7A.
We move second to approve item A. All those in favor say aye.
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 No, only resolution. I don't think procurements have to be roll call, do they?
Ideally, yes,
You want one?
on contracts and procurements.
We'll do a
Yes.
roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
5 yes votes. Moving on to item B, request approval for annual program agreement with New Mexico Cooperative Extension Services for Roosevelt County and contribute $79,137. Ms. Vieira.
As Commissioners and Chairman, included in your packet is the annual program agreement with New Mexico Cooperative Extension Services. I'd like to request the approval to continue the support towards the county extension service.
As chairman, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the annual agreement with Extension Office. Mr. Lopez, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Thank you. Request approval of appropriations 20-G 2944 for $100,000 to purchase and equip road equipment for the road department. Ms. Flores.
Yes, it's an approval for the agreement on appropriation 22G 944 for $100,000 for road equipment.
To approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the appropriation. Mr. Lopez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Moving on to item D, request approval of appropriations 22-G 3157 for $490,000 to plan, design, and construct road improvements, Roosevelt County.
Yes, it's the appropriation for agreement for 22G 3157 for $490,000 for road construction and improvements.
Move to approve.
Second, it's been moved and seconded to accept 22-G 3157. Mr. Grider, how do you vote?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
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 Mr. Lopez?
Yes. Yes.
5 yes votes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Request of ratification of New Mexico Tourism Department Clean and Beautiful Grant Program Agreement. Ms. Flores.
Yes, it's a ratification of the
Same
Clean
one,
Clean and Beautiful.
the one we do every
Grant.
year?
Yes.
Has nothing changed?
No, this one is in collaboration with the city, and it's a cleanup. We're going to schedule some cleanups around the city and in the county.
Sounds like a great thing.
Move we approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the verification of the New Mexico Department of Clean and Beautiful Grant Program. Mr. Lopez, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Item F,
Thank you.
request approval of e-payment services with Point and Pay LLC. Ms. Sanchez.
Yes, Commissioners, I just am asking for the extension to continue services with Point and Pay. They offer the services through my office where we can use credit cards to make payments in the county. And this is just an update to that agreement.
On your taxes.
You can pay your
Any-
taxes, you can pay any other services that you have throughout the county. Sometimes it's through rural addressing,
Oh,
any other services that we do collect or charge fees for can be processed in my office through them. And I have stand for any questions if you have any.
I do.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
y'all.
go ahead.
Quick question.
No.
So when they put in for like their IPA requests or their different requests that they have to pay for before they get, before we send different stuff out, can they pay for that through there as well? Instead of having to wait on them to send in their check or come in and pay?
That option's available. I don't believe that it is something that the county prefers to do. That's, I believe, a admin thing. I would refer to Ms. Hamilton to speak on that one.
It's not something that we currently offer per our policy. If it's something that we need to look at, historically, the way the practice has been is submit the payment and then we submit the documents or they come in and pick them up. We haven't had maybe 1 or 2 requests such, and we try to offer any kind of accommodation. So it's something we can certainly explore. This is more, we have very few because like they have to bring in a deposit and that's not something we take off of a credit card for rentals. So we need check payments for those. We just don't accept cash.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the e-payment services with Point and Pay.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we agreed to the services of Point and Pay. Mr. Lopez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item G, that's the one we was looking for. Oh. Get him out here late. I'm sorry. Request approval of a contract toward the RFP 2023-1 to professional legal services to New Mexico Local Government Law LLC. Ms. Riera.
Yes, Commissioners, we released an RFP for legal services in July. With that, we received one responsive and responsible proposal from New Mexico Government Law LLC. Our evaluation committee met and reviewed the proposal and agreed to select New Mexico Local Government Law LLC for a contract award, which has been included in your packet for review. They have submitted a responsive proposal and also come very highly recommended from their references. From what I understand, is they work together as a great team. They have several attorneys in their entity. As a procurement officer, I would like to recommend we award New Mexico Local Government Law LLC for 1-year contract with option to renew 3 additional 1-year terms. With that, I stand for any questions.
I have a question on the contract.
Go ahead.
Okay. Under scope of work, number 9, where it says submit a monthly invoice to the county manager's office. The invoice must detail who performed the service, the time involved, and specific questions or matters addressed. The specific questions or matters addressed, wouldn't that fall under attorney-client privilege? I mean, what if somebody wanted, what if it had something to do with in-house or something like that, that somebody wanted to ask the attorney, whether it be a commissioner or Ms. Hamilton or anybody wanted to ask the attorney about why would we want to specify that on an invoice?
So you're saying it would just not disclose that in the invoice
Right.
detail with
Yeah,
their
not
billing?
disclose that.
Go ahead, Mr. Garcia.
I can help you. Again, Mike Garcia with New Mexico Local Government Law, one of their attorneys, and I think that what we usually do in situations like that is we're fairly specific with how we bill the matter. But say, for example, I think to answer your question, Commissioner Dixon, what you can do with that is say if there's a GIPR request or a discovery request and somebody's wanting your bills, you can redact specific things that are covered in the privilege. So in terms of matters that are privileged, I don't ordinarily put what the advice was necessarily in a bill, but to the extent that that would indicate something that's privileged, we can redact it.
Okay, well, because I was wondering, for example, what if Commissioner Lopez, say, for example, had an issue with me and he thought, okay, she did this, this, or this. I want to ask the attorney his advice, but doesn't want to spread it till he knows, what the deal is. But then that's just laid out there and
I
opened
think
up.
there's some discretionary ways to deal with, sensitive questions when you're billing for it. And you don't necessarily have to go into intricate detail with it, but I guess in your particular example, that would probably be something that calls for some discretion.
Because I'm saying it says specific question or matter addressed.
Mhm.
So it's like, I want to know exactly.
So, Mr. Chair, if I can comment. So the way that this is written in the procurement is just, again, to ensure that the billing that we're receiving matches up with the services that are rendered. It's all about protecting our county dollars of our residents. It is of standard practice. I'm happy to share from Mr. Knutson's invoices. They're very general. It was the same RFP that was released for him. There is nothing specific, no privileged information. But if it is, like, he will note IPRA discussion with county manager or IPRA discussion with Miss Bagwell per se, or if they had a discussion with the sheriff's office or anything along those lines. So it's just breaking it out so that we can attribute the billing to the work that was rendered, and again, ensure that the integrity of the billing matches up. It's just a requirement of procurement to make sure that what we are paying for and the service matches up with the services that are rendered.
Is that true? I think Mr. Savage has another question.
One little thing that I'm sure it's no consequence, but I'd like to bring it to your attention if I can find it. It has to do with
Nation.
Compensation, termination. Yeah. The term, item 3. This agreement shall not become effective until approved by the Board of County Commissioners. This agreement shall terminate 1 year from the date approved by the Board of County Commissioners unless terminated pursuant to paragraph 4, termination, or paragraph 5, appropriations. There is no paragraph 5 appropriations that I can find.
You're correct. I'm looking at the contract now. It talks about paragraph 5 talks about malpractice insurance.
So it should be paragraph 5, malpractice insurance and not appropriation.
Appropriations. So this contract, I can edit it to correct that to refer the correct paragraph.
Great point, Commissioner Savage. The only thing we need to include is basically to satisfy like the Davis-Bacon and all of those federal acts that state if the county becomes unable to continue to pay for such services, then they're not financially obligated to pay for them. So that's where the monies would come into play as terms of the appropriation. So as long as the commission has appropriated and set funds forth as you typically do for legal, we can just work to include that addendum in there. Great catch.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Michael Garcia for being here today representing New Mexico local government law.
Would you like to speak now or before we vote, or you want to speak after we vote?
Mr. Chair, members of the Commissioners, your pleasure. If you have any questions specifically, I'd be happy to answer them. We have a little pitch for my team. We have a pretty deep bench. We have a lot of folks with a lot of experience over the years. Predominantly mine is land use and employment law, but I've done a little bit of tort and election law, as well as some civil rights matters. And some of the guys, we've got at least 3 people who have been county attorneys before in our firm. We've got Mr. Audio, who is sort of the head of the firm. His son has also done some fairly complex litigation cases over the years. So if we have litigation issues that come up for Roosevelt, we're almost certainly able to handle them. I know New Mexico counties will take care of a lot of those things, insofar as it deals with tort cases or civil rights cases, but every once in a while you'll have some employment cases or some other things come up, or election cases. For example, speaking of election cases, Randy Audio, he was actually the city clerk for the city of Albuquerque for a while. So there's some experience with that. Anyway, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I have one question. Will you be the representative, or will we see different representatives from the law firm when we need someone to come down?
I think I'll probably be the primary representative, but if for some reason,
Special reasoning, somebody else is better.
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah, if we have somebody that can do backup if I can't get over.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
more questions for Mr. Garcia? No.
I have a comment, Mr. Chairman, not a question.
Go ahead.
I don't know, it may be appropriate or inappropriate, but I'm going to say it anyway because I've felt it in my heart that I need to say something. Us not giving vote of confidence to Commissioner Knudsen was very, very disheartening to me because we had a really, really good thing going with him. He did so much work with what he was paid. And with that said, I'm going to miss Randy. He was a great attorney for our county.
For anybody that couldn't understand that, Mr. Lopez said that he sure was going to miss Randy, and he was a very good attorney for our county, for the record. Is that true, Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm very disheartening that we didn't have the vote of confidence just to come on board, but
Okay.
we all have our own decisions and our own opinions.
I move to approve the contract award of RFP 2023-01.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the contract award to Professional Legal Services New Mexico Government, LLC. Ms. Dixon, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
No.
Yes.
Yes. 4
yes votes, 1 no. Approval approved. All right. On to media communication. And they haven't reached out, Ms. Hamilton?
No, sir.
Seeing none, meeting's adjourned. Mr. Lopez, you have a wonderful day.
You do the same. Thanks so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, guys. Remember, I'll get